Competitive modes have become the default in today's gaming landscape. Nearly every major title now features some kind of ranked system, one that pulls in the majority of the player base. And with each new season, your progress resets, just so you can grind back up to the rank you already earned. It's the same cycle every time: recycled content, a few underwhelming tweaks, and some flashy marketing to repackage the same old game as the next big thing. But here's the question: are you actually having fun? Or has ranked become a glorified chore, designed purely to keep you logged in day after day? Because let's be honest, most of these games are free, and when something is free, you are not the customer, you are the product. Have you ever noticed that you only seem to enjoy ranked games when you're winning? That's no accident. These systems are carefully designed with addictive loops, driven by FOMO, streak-based rewards, and the illusion of progression. You're not just playing a game, you're staking something: your rank, your time, for a potential dopamine hit in the form of a shiny new badge, a new border, or bragging rights among your friends. Sounds familiar? That's because it mirrors the same psychological loop that fuels gambling, except in this case, you're not feeding coins into a slot machine, you're feeding hours into a ranked queue. And the most valuable thing you're risking isn't ranked points, it's your time.
How do you even do that? It's Vegas, Brian. You can gamble anything.
Think about it. When you're on a losing streak, you feel frustrated, even angry. You just wasted an entire evening grinding, only to end up worse than where you started. But flip the scenario. Have a good streak, climb a few ranks, and suddenly that same evening feels rewarding, even meaningful. But here's the catch: you played the same game. If it's something you truly enjoy, why does your emotional state swing so widely based on the outcome? Because it's not just about fun anymore. It's about chasing a win, and that's exactly the problem. Because when the sole purpose becomes winning, you're forced to make compromises. You end up sticking with the meta, even if it's soul-draining gameplay that sucks the fun right out of the experience. You can't play how you want to play, relaxed, creative, or even slightly off meta, because that usually means losing. And in ranked, losing feels like a failure. It also starts affecting your social experience. Most of the time, not all of your friends will be playing at the same skill level, and suddenly you find yourself avoiding the ones who drag you down just to increase your win chances. Or worse, you isolate completely. It's easier to flame strangers over the internet than deal with real friends who won't sweat every match the same way you do. All of this just to climb imaginary ladders that get reset every few months. And the worst part? Ranked isn't even about skill or balanced competition anymore. What was once a system meant to test your abilities on a level playing field, where similarly skilled players would battle it out in fair, intense matches, has morphed into something else entirely. Modern matchmaking is optimized for engagement, not fairness. It's called Engagement-Optimized Matchmaking, and it's already used in some of the biggest games out there: Warzone, Apex Legends, Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, just to name a few. Ever notice those soul-crushing losing streaks that seem to come out of nowhere, where no matter how well you play, you just can't win? Yeah, it might not be your fault, because the system is often designed to keep you just frustrated enough to keep you playing. Ranked becomes an illusion. The algorithm is carefully tuned to serve you just enough wins to keep you chasing that next rank up, while quietly pushing you to spend more and more time in-game. And the more time you spend, the more likely you are to visit that cash shop and fall into those sweet, predatory microtransactions. If you're enjoying the video so far, consider leaving a like, dropping a comment, and subscribing. It really helps the channel grow. There's even a study that tested engagement-optimized matchmaking using real-world data from millions of matches from EA Sports games. The results show that engagement-optimized matchmaking significantly increased player retention compared to traditional skill-based matchmaking. So yeah, the matchmaking system isn't necessarily designed to be fair or competitive, it's designed to keep you playing longer. So the bottom line is this: games aren't being designed to be fun or fair anymore. They're being hyper-optimized to extract as much time and money from players as possible, while ranked is just the bait. And that's the sad part, because some of these games are genuinely good. They can be fun if you strip away all the artificial FOMO and pressure constantly pushing players to perform, to climb and to grind. The illusion is that everything will feel better once you reach that shiny new rank, but it's often the opposite. Players who commit to the titanic grind all the way to high elo often find themselves hit with a strange emptiness once it's over.
You have played Guitar Hero enough to reach 1 million points! Congratulations! You are bags!
That feeling usually comes from losing the goal that kept them going for so long, one that took massive time and effort, only to deliver a fleeting moment of hype. Or worse, is the realization that all that time, all that frustration and sacrifice went into chasing an imaginary badge that ultimately doesn't matter. A number, a label, a ladder made of smoke. And instead of enjoying that free time, they burned it, chasing a lie, when they could have just focused on having fun. And as if that wasn't enough, we've got another major issue plaguing ranked games: cheaters. It's everywhere, an actual epidemic at this point. Take Warzone for example. Cheaters in this game are so out of control that people are literally flying across the map. I'm not even joking, there are clips of boats hovering through the air, entire squads being wiped out by players who basically turned on God mode. And somehow Activision still hasn't figured it out. They introduced a new anti-cheat system, but it's clearly not doing enough. At this point, it feels like they're more focused on pushing flashy cosmetics than actually making the game playable. Then there's Counter-Strike 2. You'd think that with how long this franchise has been around, Valve would have cracked the code by now. But no, CS2, it's absolutely flooded with cheaters. You load into a ranked match and there's a decent chance someone's wall hacking, aimbotting or pulling off some impossible flicks like it's nothing. VAC Live was supposed to be the solution, but let's be honest, it feels half-baked at best and completely asleep at worst. Even pro players are calling it out, saying ranked is borderline unplayable at higher levels because of how bad the cheating problem is. And honestly, it kinda shows where the priorities are. At this point, CS2 is basically a skin slot machine with an FPS minigame attached. The actual gameplay takes a backseat while the focus is on the marketplace, cases, and making everything look shiny and expensive. And that's the thing, it's not like these companies are small indie devs scraping by. These are massive corporations with all the resources in the world, yet they can't or won't put proper systems in place to protect competitive integrity. Maybe because it's easier and more profitable to drop another battle pass than it is to fix the actual game. It really feels like the entire direction of the modern gaming industry has completely lost the plot. If you take a step back and look at the bigger picture, it doesn't even make sense anymore. Games aren't being made to be fun, they're being engineered to keep players locked in engagement loops, while selling the illusion of competition. And sure, they love to plaster esports tournaments everywhere, flaunting pro players and million-dollar prize pools like some kind of golden ticket. But that just sells a fantasy to impressionable players, that with enough time, grind and dedication, they too can make it, when in reality, it's way more complicated. The system isn't built to reward fairness or skill consistently. It's built to retain players and maximize profit. That shiny rank isn't a step towards greatness. It's a step towards the next cosmetic drop. And speaking of cosmetics, those same pro players are decked out in skins that cost hundreds of dollars, turning them into walking billboards. Because even if you can't play like them, maybe you can look like them, and that's good enough to keep the shop open and the FOMO train rolling. At the end of the day, ranked modes were supposed to be a way to test your skill, improve over time, and compete on a level playing field. But the original vision has been buried under engagement metrics, manipulative design, and corporate greed. What we're left with is a system that punishes you for trying to have fun, pressures you into playing like it's a second job, and rewards time spent over actual improvement. And even when you do climb that ladder, all you really earn is a shiny badge, a little dopamine hit, and the privilege of starting all over again next season. It's easy to fall into the trap. I've done it, we've all done it, but sometimes it's worth asking, are you still playing because you love the game, or because the system's designed to keep you hooked? Let me know in the comments if you've ever gone through this cycle yourself, or if there's a ranked system out there that actually does it right. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.